Thank you, Sally. Good morning, everyone.
Good
I'd like
morning.
to call this meeting to order and acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Innu, Cree, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. My name is Mark Boreski. I will be chairing the panel today. With me as members of the panel are Marla Billinghurst and Ian Mann. The assessor for today is Jamie Fougere, and our administrative person is Sally Caulfield. To the Zoom participants of the hearing, please note you're placed in the waiting room until your property is called upon. When it is your turn, you will be admitted into the meeting. Kindly follow along on the City of Winnipeg's Board of Revision YouTube channel for the hearing process. Once the host admits you into the hearing, please close or mute your YouTube player. You'll then be permitted to speak with respect to your property. Once your hearing is concluded, you can leave the meeting. We will be hearing applications for a revision of the business assessment role in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act and the City of Winnipeg Charter. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and everyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the Board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value, or to the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the Board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony, followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony, followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all of the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the Board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the Board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. We'll be hearing items 2 and 3 on the docket today. And Ms. Caulfield, could you please affirm the assessor's and the applicant's testimony?
Mr. Assessor, please state your full name.
Jamie Fougere.
Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Ms. Nasser, could you please state your full name?
Mohammed Nasser.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Ms. Alhamid, please state your full name.
Heba Abdelhamid.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, we'll proceed as soon as I've figured out I'm having a little bit of a computer problem here, but I've got to bring up the information. All right, so we will proceed with number 2 then on the docket. And Mr. Assessor, when you are ready, could you lead us through your information?
Sure. So the file number here is 23-466. And this is the address here is Unit D dash 1566 Pembina Highway. The business assessment ID is 56893. And the business name is Tarbouche Middle Eastern specialty food and cuisine. And if you take a look at the brief that I have here, so it notes that the area that's being leased, the premise area, is 5,005 square feet. Originally, we had a base ARV per square foot, basically what would be a net rent rate of $28.18 on the premise. And then you can see below, there is a lease in place signed in October 2019 of $28 a square foot. And then below we have rental comparables throughout along Pembina. This file has sort of traded hands from another assessor that has moved on to another position. This brief, I've just updated my name, but it was created by the previous assessor. After doing a little bit more digging with regards to unit size, I have a recommendation. This is a newer strip mall on Pembina, so as part of my further research into comparables, I looked at two newer strip malls along Pembina, as well as some newer strip malls throughout the city, and they range much closer to the size of the subject property, about 3,000 square feet up to a little over 5,000 square feet. And what that process had suggested to me from looking at comparables, again, newer comparables that are more similar in size to the subject, it suggested that a rate of $26 would still be very fair and a healthy rent. And so I would propose that we make a recommendation to $26 per square foot. And then again, with the additional occupancy costs of $2.50 added in. And this would give us an annual rental value of $142,620. And that would be down from $153,540. So that's the original is $153,540, and I am proposing that we use $142,620 for the business assessment. Thank you.
So, applicants, this is your opportunity to ask questions about the information that the assessor has brought forward, if you wish to. If you want to present evidence, that will come subsequently. But I guess the first question is, you are now hearing that he has a recommendation to reduce the amount to $142,620. Is that amount acceptable to you?
No.
All right, then we will carry on. Do you have questions for the assessor about the information that he has brought forward?
No, I appreciate his clearness.
Ms. Billinghurst, do you have questions?
I do not, no. Thank you.
Mr. Mann, do you have
No,
questions?
I don't have any questions. Sorry, I do have one with respect to the square footage allocated, the 5,005 square feet. How can you tell us, please, how that was arrived at?
So the 5,005 square feet is based on the lease information that is provided to us by way of the income and expense mailer. So a rent roll was returned to our department, and it indicates that the subject, that the applicant's unit, Unit D, which is actually comprised of, I believe, having spoken to Mohammed yesterday, that it is comprised of 3 units, but there's no demising walls, so I believe it would be, at least 3 of them, is my understanding, and in total it comes out to 5,005 square feet, and that information again is provided to us from the property owner through the rent roll.
Okay, thank you. And then I guess my follow-up to that is the reported rent of $28 per square foot that was received as a result of the income and expense mailer, or from the income expense mailer as well?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you very much. Those are my questions, Mr. Chair.
From my sake, a little bit of context, please. Where on Pembina is this?
So this strip mall here, I believe it was completed about 2018, 2019. It has a Red Swan Pizza there. Just the next, I believe, commercial property south of it, if you know the Starbucks on Pembina Highway, let me see if I can pull up a cross street, actually. That's probably...
It's Charest.
Right. Thank you very much. So just a bit north of Bishop Grandin.
Okay, and east side, west side?
It's on the east side.
And how many units are there in this strip mall, and where in the strip mall is this one?
So this is the northernmost unit, and there are 4 units altogether. If you look at Tarbouche as being comprised of 3 smaller units that have been have no demising walls between them, just one larger unit towards the north side of the property, the northern edge of the strip mall.
So am I understanding this correctly? This business comprises 3 of 4 units in the mall?
No, I should restate that. I believe there's 3 units, or would be 3 units. You know, the potential for 3 separate units here in this space, but there are another 3 units with separate businesses just to the south of this within the mall.
Okay, so six units in total.
Yes, if you look at it that way, but only 4 businesses.
Yes.
So we have A, B, C, and D.
Okay.
And D is the subject, and that's the northernmost.
Right. And so this the sheet that we have as evidence showing rent comparables, that was prepared before your additional work. And so have you changed the addresses of rent comparables in your submission then?
No. So what I've submitted here today is what was prepared by the previous assessor, and I had forwarded on as my evidence. My information that I'm presenting verbally with regards to the recommendation, I do not have that before you. It's just verbal evidence of my own research further along. I can provide a little bit more information with regards to that verbal evidence that I'm giving on those units, those additional, if you like, those additional.
How many are different than what we see on this sheet?
So I had conducted my own search, and so they're all. What has led me to offer the recommendation is comprised of all new comparables, if you will.
Oh, okay.
And so I had looked at there's a new, I believe, approximately 2014 build strip mall on St. Anne's Road that I had looked at, has two premises that are 3,254 square feet and then 3,494 square feet. And then probably the two strongest indicators that I think are also new strip malls on Pembina. 2405 Pembina Highway. There is a unit that is 3,800 square feet with a rental rate of $26. And then we also have 2589 Pembina Highway with a rental unit of 3,606 square feet. And that is 2939. And I do recognize that is, higher than what I'm suggesting. However, there are other comparables within both of those malls that range from 24 to here 2939 that I had just mentioned. And these two malls that I've mentioned that are newer builds on Pembina as well, they're closer to the University of Manitoba, and they have a construction date of 2012. 2012 and 2011, I believe. Let me just check one of them here. And so I believe that those are greater indicators. What I do have on my list here, what's in front of you guys, the comparable list that you guys have in front of you, 1740 Pembina Highway is a strip mall that's also fairly new. That's 2004. And that has $26, as you can see in my brief, as well as $34.77. But you will note that the newer of those two leases is 2016. Again, in line with what I'm suggesting of a fair rate of about $26. But again, these units are smaller, and I do regret that I didn't catch this before I had submitted these comparables. The only one that is a larger unit is the last on the list here at 2835 Pembina Highway, 7,509 square feet. That's a fair bit bigger than the subject. It has a lease rate of $22. But this is an older building. So 1980 was the year of construction for that strip mall. So I do feel that with my recommendation, it's a stronger indication of what newer construction of this type would be leasing for. And there were two pretty good examples along Pembina that are similar to the subject that, again, I wish I would have been able to been on the ball to include them with my submitted material. And
Okay.
the one that I had mentioned, that I'm just going to look up the construction date here. Yeah, so 2005 and 2011 are the date of construction for the first of the newer constructions I mentioned on Pembina, and then the other one was 2012.
Okay. You said that the comps that you have used are tend to be newer construction than the ones that were on this list that was submitted. Correct me if I'm wrong. And are they also generally more recent lease dates than the list that we have been provided with?
Yes,
They are.
they are. Yeah. So they range from, I have that in front of me, they range from 2017 up to 2020 for the lease
Okay.
starts.
All right. In that case, that's all my questions. So we can turn it over to the applicants for your evidence. Could we get your information, please?
Excuse me just a moment, Mr. Chair. Before the applicant begins, there is a preliminary issue. There were two briefs that were submitted by the applicant. One was late. I don't know if you wanted to address that now.
What is that second evidence?
The one that was received on time is the applicant brief that includes the photographs. The one that was submitted late is the other one, which the name is item 223-466-1566 Pembina Highway, Unit D applicant brief late.
Okay, let's take a short recess. The panel members will discuss whether we will accept it or not, and then we will come up with a decision and get back. Okay, thank you, Sally. We have made the decision that we will permit you to submit that additional information that was late, though I would add a caution that, as you can tell, we spent some time deliberating on whether we should do so or not. We need not. And just for the future, please take that into account. For this submission, though, we will accept both of your documents. So could you lead us through your information, please?
Sure. Thank you for taking the second paper. The main difference is in the first one, just the number of square footage wasn't really considered. So I don't believe anything significant was changed, but I really appreciate this because it will be easier to guide us through. So I appreciate all of you folks taking the time to be here. So our major points is that Pembina has had construction basically from the time of May until October for the past few years, which has, because the construction on Pembina is also right in front of our store, it directly impacts the business opportunities we are able to get. And our returning customers are unwilling to come to Pembina or to come to our location because of the construction. As I'm not sure if you folks have been on Pembina during these construction times, but you know, the entrance to our location is unclear because, you know, the construction company, potentially to the best of their ability, is trying to navigate being between open links during traffic versus not during traffic. But in this time period, the entrance to our store is blocked off because it's not clear how to enter. There wasn't enough signage. So this really has affected our business for the last 2 years, as construction has been directly in front of our business these two time periods. So I would graciously ask that you consider this in making your decision, because this was a city project that affected our business. And when we spoke to the individual that was in charge of the project, they had assured us, which unfortunately wasn't the reality, that they would try to maintain the open spaces and that the construction would not take 4 months in front of our space directly, which was corner Chevrier and Pembina, right? So it's a major point also where the crossroads were blocked off for the entire 4 months, which blocks off pedestrians being able to walk. So not only cars, but pedestrians and bikers that are coming to our location are no longer able to use that side of the road completely. So how do you enter, especially if you're a pedestrian, without potentially putting your life at risk. So I would graciously ask you to consider this as part of our decision making. And for the second point, our square foot is 5,001 square foot, actually. I'm not sure why on our lease it's 5,005. Anyways, it's only 4 difference in case you were curious why to the difference. But yeah, so I just wanted to kind of give a little bit of a breakdown into how our space is actually used. Originally, it was supposed to be divided up into 3 smaller units, but I'm not really sure how this became that we weren't able to divide up just throughout the blueprint time and throughout construction and so on and so forth, landlord agreements and other ideas. So I would ask that maybe this be considered as different units in the calculation time. So we have 320 square foot of our space is used for staffing. 500 square foot is storage. 1,848 square foot of this is the grocery area, and the 2,153 is the restaurant. So this kind of makes, like, just to give you a physical, like, the ability to see our space, it's how it's divided up. One part is a grocery store, one part is a restaurant, and the other part is for staffing needs. And number 3 is kind of really a really important part for us as a small business, is that we were scheduled to open 2020, the midst of the pandemic. And because we were a new business, we weren't eligible for any of the government subsidies, which meant that throughout that whole pandemic time, the spacing, the 2,153 square footage, we were not able to use. So we were closed until the city granted us permission in October 22 to open up. So we had been paying rent for a space we were not able to use. And there's no way we could have even navigated that as a new space. We weren't able to get in our not inventory our tables, our chairs, our kitchen equipment. Everything was, as we all know, was backlogged, and shipping became almost impossible. So I would kindly request that you think of, as a small business who just started and wasn't eligible for any funding or grant from the government, and you know how expensive our rent is. So what a major hit we took in terms of financial stability before we were even able to start properly. And the grocery store was able to open, sure, but our mandate is that, 1, we hire newcomers, and 2, that we want to offer sustainable and affordable food to communities that are already marginalized, right? So if I am like having food that is affordable, and like generally groceries are not where profit is made, but if I'm making maybe potentially 5 cents, 6 cents on a can of tuna or beans or whatever it may be, it's not where like I can be like, yes, this is the amount of money I can afford to pay the remaining of my taxes. So again, it's a lot of like financial burden that has happened to us. And then the rest of point 3 and point 4 kind of touch into a new bylaw that's coming through by the city, which affects exactly about, I want to tell you, let's say 1,153 square foot of our space. As during the pandemic, the city banned the use of hookah, which is referred to as smoking pipe in their like city, in their projects. So, and then this is a new law that's going to come out by the city of Winnipeg, again, that will implement us, right? It's already going through city right now. So if I will not be able to use about 1,500, 1,100, I can't tell you exactly right now, but I can get back to you, square footage of my area because of change in city. Even though I had rented this space under this premises, it becomes very difficult to pay taxes on something I'm not able to use. And then lastly, and I think we're all very empathetic or understand the complexities of like what's happening on in the Middle East and how it directly affects our communities. As a Middle Eastern restaurant whose primarily food sources are halal, meaning that there's no pork in them, our businesses become unfortunately, the repercussions of international affairs in our beautiful Winnipeg, where our business, our customers become scared to patron our business because they're direct representations of our space So they become fearful of visiting any space. And we have seen this throughout the news where Middle Eastern businesses are saying that their spaces are being targeted. And then at the same time, simultaneously, you know, and it's been an unfortunate reality because in the Middle East, this last couple of years have been really just tense. And, you know, starting with like when we had just being unable to receive items, you know, due to like the blockage of the Suez Canal and then the bombing in like Lebanon. And so it's become really hard to receive products. And as you can see in the shelving, that we are going through a inventory crisis, which is very like severely affecting us and our patrons. Because finding halal products is the whole like premises of our business, right? And if I can't find these products to sell, what am I selling? And then second off, if my majority of my clientele, regardless of what background they come from, become fearful of what may happen, it's an unfortunate reality that I think a lot of Middle Eastern businesses face and similar communities face when tensions rise up, you know, but I can't speak on behalf of any other community, but I can speak on behalf of my own. So I would really like you folks to consider this when talking about our taxation, because originally under the premises when we had opened and we had our original meeting with the city about what our taxation would look like, we had been told approximately around $20 per square foot. So to find $8, while it may not seem very largely significant as a small business, this number is really potentially like what breaks the camel's back and also affects my staffing and how I can staff and so on and so forth. So thank you for your time and listening.
Mr. Fougere, do you have questions of the applicant?
Just wanted to sort of bring your attention to the floor plan. I believe it's the first page of the first document. And I just wanted to confirm that the area sort of towards the bottom, if you will, you can see the doors here. You can see there's basically what would be 3 entrances here. So that's the restaurant. That's sort of the bottommost portion of that floor plan. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then the supermarket or grocery store area is to the right side, and it kind of goes behind the restaurant. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to confirm the layout of what we're looking at. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all your questions?
Yeah, that's all my questions.
Mr. Mann, do you have questions?
Just a couple of questions. Not dealing in any particular order. With respect to the bylaw or the potential bylaw you've referenced with respect to the regulation of hookah pipes or hookah lounges or usage of a hookah, that bylaw isn't drafted yet, is it?
Okay, so I can actually pull this up for you specifically. So this has come out from the executive committee to be brought to the January 15th meeting. But why this affects us is during the pandemic, under the Emergency Act, the city of Winnipeg, or it was maybe the provincial government, I can't remember, I'm sorry, had hookah pipes banned throughout the pandemic. So we were not able to open until October 2022. And then this bylaw just came out about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago.
Yes, but that bylaw.
It's not, no, it will January 15th is the proposed date, from what I'm understanding.
Okay. And are you aware if there's any exceptions allowed in that bylaw, like the cigar exceptions in the provincial smoking legislation?
We haven't been granted the opportunity to contribute to decision making or maybe just a dialogue yet with the city. So we're not really sure where we stand at the moment.
Right. So that's just it's a potential impact on your business.
So if we compare what has happened to other cities, these bylaws end up being passed very fast. And so it's a potential, but come January 15th, we are aware this is going to come forward in whatever implication that may mean, because even in regardless of whichever way it will come, there will be financial implications. So like I cannot assume that it would be very naive to assume that this would have no influence on my business. If I can, sorry, like, because I know I can compare it to other cities throughout Canada.
Okay. Now you talked about the construction on Pembina Highway for 4 months in 2022 and 4 months in 2023 impacting your sales. Have you done a sales analysis of the time, say between when there wasn't construction there, from October through April? Or did your sales increase at that point, or
they decreased.
Okay, so in the winter months they decrease as well?
No, just during the
That's
construction period. Sorry, just during the construction period. And then it goes back up post-construction.
And what percentage, do you have that number? What's a percentage decrease or increase once?
Yeah, of course. I don't know the exact number off by hand, but I believe it's about 19%. Not 90, 19.
I wrote down 19. And just looking at the floor plan with respect to, you indicated you use some area.
So I want to clarify something. So it's 19% for my grocery, then it's 19% for my restaurant, because they are two different entities.
So they're both 19%.
Roughly, give or take. I can give you the exact number later on if you choose.
Looking at the floor plan, and you have divided it, you've talked about a break room of and storage area as well.
Yep.
Where is the storage area noted, or where is the storage area on that floor plan?
Storage is if we're looking at the plan, it's all the way at the left back.
Behind the freezers?
Hamad, do you want to?
Yes.
You're better at this.
Yes. Northeast.
Northeast. So
Yes.
that's where the freezer and the cooler are noted.
Yeah.
In the floor plan.
Yeah, like in the plan, they have a freezer and a cooler, but like we installed the freezer and cooler just like recently.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Those are my questions.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Billinghurst, questions?
Yes, on floor plan, it's marked that there's non-smoking and a smaller smoking section of the restaurant. So is the smoking section the hookah bar area, and then the other part is the restaurant?
Yeah.
So what percentage of the floor space is for the restaurant versus for the hookah area?
محمد ممكن ترد على دي؟
Yeah, just 1 second. I have to calculate it. It's like a third of the space of the restaurant.
Okay.
The smoking area.
Do you serve food in the smoking area?
Yes.
بتسألك if you serve food في المطعم. No.
Yeah, we serve.
No, sorry. We serve food in the restaurant side, not in the hookah area.
Okay. Yeah, those are my questions. Thank you.
You noted that there was an impact on pedestrian and bike traffic to your location as well. Do you have any idea what percentage your sales are to people who've come on bike or pedestrians?
I have no way of calculating that, but as someone who's actually a cyclist, and I speak to Bike Winnipeg, and you can have this conversation with Bike Winnipeg, who is the organization that represents cyclists in the city, where cyclists are absolutely more likely to avoid construction areas. One, for safety reasons, of course, and then because the gravel on the road could potentially just cause you a flat tire. So this was a conversation we had with Bike Winnipeg. So I know this is like a valid thing, and it's not just my perception. because like because really I tried to find information on the city of Winnipeg about the construction, but I can't find it at the moment. But it was like a lot of just gravel in the entrance area of how you're entering. So that was a very long-winded answer of telling you I can't tell you the percentage, but I know Pembina is composed, a lot of my clientele is students that live in that area and that walk and bike to my space.
Okay. So there were 2 summers, 4 months each, where
Yep.
there was construction, and that had impact on your business, you're saying. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is it finished now? Like there won't be construction like that next summer?
I don't know. Like I believe I'm not sure if they finished all the work, because how we hear our contact information is through our acting landlord. So the representative is the individual that provides us with the information. But when we're talking to the individuals that are doing the work outside, sometimes we get 2 different answers. So I'm not sure which is right.
All right. Has that work improved bike access? Is biking safer, better?
Of course. I'm a cyclist, right? I deeply believe in the importance of city infrastructure to help people. But then also keep in mind, it started in October, and I can't tell you because people no longer bike in the same capacity after the summertime. So this will be an answer I can answer you next year.
Okay. All right. That's all of my questions. So that then concludes this, unless Mr. Fougere, do you want to summarize?
No, thank you. I think I think you probably have the information.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Applicant, you want to summarize? Ms. Applicant, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, sorry. I think I'm okay.
All right, with what you've presented. Okay. Well, thank you very much. We've concluded this item on the docket then. Thank you for appearing. You will receive our answer as quickly as we can get it to you.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
So that takes us to item number 3 on the agenda. And for this one, we do not have an applicant in appearance. Is that correct, Ms. Caulfield?
That is.
Then let us retire momentarily, decide whether we're going to hear this.
Mr. Chair, there is that email that was sent from the appeals manager. It's been added to the SharePoint drive.
Right. But nevertheless, the person is not in appearance, so we have to make the decision.
All right. Mr. Assessor, I'll be putting you in the waiting room.
All right. We have concluded that we will hear this application in the absence of the applicant. So, Mr. Fougere, could we have your information, please?
Sure. So I'm just going to pull it up here. So the file number is 23-459. And the address here is 301-1485 Portage Avenue. The business assessment ID is 24829. The name of the business is Below the Belt. So this is at Polo Park. This is a unit that is in the wing on the second floor of Polo Park that was previously part of Zellers. But when Zellers vacated, they demised the space, and it became, they put in a hallway, and they put in probably about 25 units or so, maybe a little bit less. And so this is a unit that it's a little bit L-shaped. So the front of the unit, has access to the mall corridor, of course, but then it bends around behind two neighboring units. And there are several units in this newer area that was formerly Zellers that have had difficulty leasing, as sort of the malls have sort of changed their business model slightly, and with the advent of online shopping, one can make the case that it's not as strong as it used to be. So the subject here found themselves in the space and were able to obtain a lease on a more temporary basis. And so if you see in the information that I have for the subject lease information, that's actually the previous tenant that paid $80 a square foot, along with recoveries. So that was a net rent. The subject today pays approximately $14 a square foot and does not pay recoveries. So it's not a true market lease. And then as I was looking at the comparables, there are on the second floor comparables that range in the $40 to $50 range, and especially considering the shape of this unit and the difficulty with leasing, I would suggest that we err on the lower side of the range, which would be $40, and that's the amount per square foot that I'm proposing as part of our recommendation. So the original business assessment was a total of $337,020, and that's using market rental rate in our system of $69.99 plus the $2.50 for occupancy costs, and that is applied to the area of 4,649 square feet. Our recommendation is a reduction to a total of $197,580, and this is using $40 a square foot based on comparables within the mall, and $2.50 occupancy cost, again applied to the same 4,649 square feet, again totaling $197,580. And as was mentioned, there was some discussion with the appeals manager with regards to the attendance of the applicant, and due to a family situation, they requested to accept the recommendation prior. So I just wanted to mention that, and then just briefly read the correspondence, if I may.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I had laid out the recommendation as just mentioned in email form, and Mrs. Hutter had responded, "Hi all, this file is 2023 application. Alex can respond to this email and provide his acceptance. He will not be required to attend either virtually or in person. Kind regards, Visa." And then the applicant had responded, "Good evening, everyone." And they say, "Thanks. Yes, I provide acceptance." So just to note that the parties are in agreement with the proposed recommendation.
Thank you. Mr. Mann, do you have questions?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Ms. Billinghurst?
No questions.
Just one. You said this is a 2023 application. Does that mean it's an application in 2023 for the 2024 roll? Or are we talking about a sup here of 2023?
I will just double check here. My information that I have here, I see, having read that, it does, bring to mind that question for myself as well. So I will just verify the information that I have. I see on the brief that I have, it says 2024. But I believe it is 2023. That's what I am seeing in on the application here, that it relates to the assessment year 2023.
Has there been a 2024 application?
Not that I'm aware of. I believe that this would cover both of them. Basically, 2020 is, yes, carry forward.
Okay, all right. That's all my questions. Thank you very much. Would you want to summarize?
Just again, just to emphasize that, there was a request on the applicant's part to forego attendance today, and I had brought that forward, and it seems that all parties are in agreement with the recommendation. So that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. So we have now heard all the items scheduled for this hearing, and the hearing is now adjourned. Thank you for appearing, Mr. Fougere.
Thank you very much. You guys have a good day. Bye.
You too.